Yep, there they go.
I saw that green flashing light on HexMage's timer, so I knew that was coming shortly. The uncle going out for a pack of smokes, and in our first chest we have a bottle.
Yeah, a nice find early, so when they do get to Kakariko, can check the sick kid right away and don't have to leave that for later.
Definitely, and always good for those safety items as well. Anyway, they are both making their way through the Hyrule Castle Garden. It looks like HexMage is playing as the green guard sprite, and Furaime playing as the Boo sprite, so two very interesting sprite choices as well.
And we're going to get a Burna start.
Burna is a very interesting start. It's less of a weapon and more of just bodying yourself into the guards. So it's always kind of interesting to see how this one usually pays out as we get a piece of heart from the other chest in Uncle Cave.
Yeah, and we'll see. The one bad thing about it is a little bit difficult to farm for bombs until you get to the sewers. It does make really quick work of the ropes and rats, but you need to have the magic down there to do it.
Yeah, you will literally run straight to the edge of your magic meter, assuming you don't get any magic drops inside the castle section. So, gonna have to be very, very conservative with what they get, and almost even kind of hope for another weapon just in case. Also using some pot strats in the hallway to get a few extra kills. Another good way to kind of farm for bombs when you have that limited magic to work with.
Oh, hey, we get the swag net right away, so that empty bottle, they can catch some fairies if they want.
This is very, very true. So while we're kind of traveling through this hallway, a little bit of background on both our runners here. Both runners did compete in the Swiss stage of this tournament. None of them are pre-qualifiers. Furaime closed his run with a 6-1 and HexMage with a 5-2. So, based on stats alone, you'd kind of have to give the advantage to Furaime, but this is Randomizer, so you have two very strong runners that competed out of that pool of 512, so they're both going to be fighting really hard for this victory here.
Yeah, definitely the racers that made it to the bracket stage, none of them are weak at this point, so anything can happen.
Yeah, it's almost a case where, a lot of strong players may have not even qualified for the brackets, because, again, the pool of 512 was very, very strong. There were a lot of newcomers and also just, really skilled newcomers who have just made a really strong showing in this tournament. So, there were a lot of players, recognized players, that didn't make it to this tournament as well.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy when we got to, week 6 and 7, see some of the racers that weren't going to make it to brackets, and you saw the names, and you never would have thought that at the start of the tournament.
Oh, for sure, definitely. Anyway, still not finding anything of noteworthiness in the actual chest in the escape sequence, but HexMage gonna have to be a little conservative, a little more so than Furaime right now. Literally has about 1 second of Burna use left. There are some pots in these sewers that could restore a little bit of magic, but still gonna need to be very careful with what he uses of that cane.
Yeah, definitely. I think, hopefully he knows about those pots and is going to grab at least one of those so he's got the magic, but we're not going to really have magic to farm for bombs, whereas Furaime will have some magic to get those bombs.
Definitely. Getting a few more pot kills in the hallway here, just for some arrows, though.
Yeah, still no bombs, though, so if we are going to see bombs, they are very deep in one of the prize packages, potentially.
Yeah, we might have to come back to this escape section later to get those last 3 chests, and, unfortunately, we could have a situation where the Power Glove is in there, and the Power Glove is a faster way of getting those 3 chests, but if they don't have that, they're going to have to go a very long way through the front door back to where those chests are.
Yeah, then I think you immediately, if that happens, you find the glove back there, you feel like you're behind, because you're always going to think that your opponent got the bomb and made it back there.
Definitely. Gonna get the small key from this chest, though, since we have not found it yet, and we needed to get through this next door.
Yeah, Furaime is showing off the knowledge of where those magic pots are.
Ooh! Finds an 8 bomb drop in that pack of rats right there. HexMage going for it too. Does find it as well, so both of them are going to be able to get that last chest and escape.
Yep, HexMage, very little magic, but now with 8 bomb drop, even if he runs out of magic, he could just potentially use his bombs and try to get the kill too.
That is true. That is very true. Yep, and I think he is... yeah, I don't think he can actually use it right now. Does lock it down, though, and does get the small key.
Alright. I actually missed these 3 chests the first time around because I was paying attention, but ooh, Moon Pearl.
And that was a very important item, too.
Yeah, definitely.
And the last chest we have here in Escape is just 20 rupees, which means we are done with that. Both runners should be finishing close to the sub 7-hour mark, which is, or 7-minute mark, sorry. So they did make it through pretty quickly considering the start and also the farming they had to do.
Early map check, I believe I saw a regular crystal over on Eastern, and had green pennant down on Desert, and blue on Hera.
Oh wow, interesting map layout.
Actually, no, it's a 5 crystal over on Eastern, so one of the important crystals.
Okay, that is good information to have. So since both our runners have a lot of bombs, or some bombs to work with, looks like they are both going to be skipping the lumberjack tree check for now, waiting until maybe they get boots or something, because you know, when you don't have all the items to even attempt Aghanim, it makes sense to not worry about that check right away, because you can still potentially find Dark World access. And speak of the devil, that is the hammer, one of our Dark World items.
Yep, just missing gloves now. And probably both very not happy to see the hammer, not just because closer to Dark World, but that is a very large weapon for them to have as well.
Yeah, they've had to use magic this whole way through, but now they have a weapon that won't cost ammo, a weapon that won't cost magic. Pretty reliable, even considering the small hitbox that it has, so it is something they can use for the early part of Light World and feel pretty comfortable.
Lines out though, nothing so far of value. Some more bombs, add some rupees. Our first heart container.
Bomb's always good, means that won't have to potentially buy anymore.
Yeah, but even if they have to buy them now, with the 2 bomb upgrades, they'll at least be able to get full use out of it.
This is very true. Gonna get the wishing well check now. Another 5 items we can found in here.
There's HexMage's map check. Oh, flippers.
Ooh, boots.
And fire
Ooh,
rod.
fire rod.
I was gonna say let's just call it footwear, okay, or the footwear wall, but you know, fire rod kind of changed that a little bit.
Well, maybe Furaime will start showing us some fiery rod usage with his feet. Maybe he can use the fire rod with his feet.
Maybe.
But yeah, 3 very, very important, not only progression items, but just convenient items, especially for the early part of the seed. so definitely good to find any of those 3 early, and you just get all 3 in the same place.
Yeah, especially, you know, even if Skullwoods ends up being our 3rd pendant, having that fire source, because we have no idea where a lamp is.
Mm-hmm.
Sick Kid has a lot of love for us.
Inside the tavern, another heart container. So yeah, with those boots right here, we can actually get what is at the library. Don't have to worry about remembering a location for later. Just some bombs.
Yeah, and HexMage ended up buying bombs as well, so...
Meanwhile, Furaime checking the race game, going right for this. You have the boots, you don't have to expend a bomb to actually get here. And, you know, just in general, taking kind of a chance to maybe find something right here.
Just 10 arrows, though.
Okay, so Furaime going to be starting back at Link's house, going south now to the southern shore, getting all these early preliminary light world locations checked off where you can find a number of items. And, you know, with those slippers, that will give us a couple of other spots to check as well.
Yeah, definitely. With Zora completely in logic, all 4 items there, just because money's not a thing when Zora's taken in a logic, so who knows, we might have to farm some rupees, who knows.
Or at the very least, find maybe some 300 items.
Got a Saki bomb bag there.
Mm-hmm.
Get some knowledge there with the bush crab. It's just going to be hearts today.
So how is Furaime going to handle this room? Okay, going to go for the hammer. Now, hitting mini Moldorms with the hammer can be quite tricky. They move very, very fast. And wow, that one mini Moldorm coming straight for him from the other side.
Yeah, he was not playing around.
Definitely not. Meanwhile, HexMage is using bomb strats.
Don't think there was... Yeah, oh, no, we had the flute, so that's definitely important.
Definitely an item you want to get before Kakariko, but hey, it's better to have it than not to have it at all, I guess.
Yeah, and both players opting to save and quit after this. More than likely to go activate the flute, which is a good idea, because at this point, I mean, even with boots, it wouldn't take too long to get to Ice Rod Cave, but you can always just flute back to 8 and run up there.
And as we're seeing from more likely both of our runners here, also giving the check to the Bump Rocks to the left of Sanctuary, getting our first sword upgrade out of it, which was a good check to make. And we could also see a potential Lumberjack check as well, since, you know, with the boots, once we do get access to that tower, we can also get access to this item too. So may as well figure out what that is going to be now.
Yep, definitely a good idea.
HexMage actually going to forego this check, though, just to get a little bit of distance here. And inside, we have just a blue rupee, so HexMage is going to take a small, but, you know, a nice lead, but he will have that location kind of in his mind, I bet.
Yeah, probably be sitting in the back of your mind, and, you know, when you come up to check Bumper Cave, if you have the mirrors, then maybe come check it.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Besides, for all we know, we still need that lift upgrade for Dark World access, and, you know, we might still have to beat Aghanim just to get to that lift upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, lift upgrade, who knows? That could be sitting on the pyramid.
Pyramid even in Hype Cave, Palace of Darkness, a couple of places where that can be at this point. Before we can get to Aghanim, we still also need to get the lamp and cape to officially put that in the logic. Just a red rupee inside the ice cave.
I believe it was also a red rupee sitting on Desert Ledge there, too.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, mushroom and egg in his cave.
Now, with that mushroom, Furaime does have an interesting decision to make. We can go ahead and turn in that mushroom. Also, 300 rupees just taunting us on that Lake Hylia island. But yeah, we can turn in that mushroom, get an item from that, or we could keep the mushroom for a potential later on to maybe do some fake powder.
And I think what he's going to do, since he just found it, saves and quits, he's going to turn it in like he already did, check the item. If it's not important, he'll just do a reset.
Mm-hmm, yes. And, okay, I think that is exactly what he is doing. Yeah, so with this, he's going to keep that mushroom, so not going to turn it in. And if he does get the Cane of Samaria later before he gets powder, he can do a fake powder check.
Looks like he's just gonna kind of follow HexMage's footsteps at this point, check Ice Rod Cave, and then we'll probably check the flipper locations.
Mm-hmm. Gonna get one of those flipper locations checked right now here in Waterfall Fairy Cave. We're gonna get a red rupee and a piece of heart. And on the Zora Ledge, we're going to get another sword upgrade.
So that becomes even more interesting, because that means all we need now is Lamp for Aga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Master Sword does bypass the cape requirements for Aghanim's Tower, so we are now just one item from that being in logic, and one item from having Dark World in logic, so it could go either way at this point.
And we still got a few locations, though. Got part of Death Mountain with the flute, and then we've got Eastern area.
Yeah, definitely. So they'll more than likely be making all those checks before they even consider making the Aghanim play. You do not want to make a play like that when there's so many other things to check, because if you make that play and you don't get what you need, you've just wasted quite a number of minutes on that play.
Yeah, definitely. And HexMage going to do a little bit of a sequence break and grab the old man.
And chat also pointing out we still also have that Zora location too. Both runners being quite a distance away from that being capable of being gotten right now. So we could also see a bunch of rupee farming in our future as well.
Yeah, I mean, if that becomes the last location, especially if you don't have a lamp yet, then so you know Zora's going to have something where there'd be a lift upgrade of the lamp, and you're going to have to go find some rupees. Old man just has a bigger quiver for us.
I'm going to be a little careful as he travels through this part, because the cabbages and the dead rocks were kind of giving him some trouble.
Yeah, they did not want him to go up the mountain.
Maybe they know what's up here and they just don't want to progress the seed. We do see the Quake Medallion on top of Spectacle Rock.
And 20 bucks inside. So I think HexMage thinking about where he has access to right now.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, at this point, either going to be the Eastern Palace area or Zora. Going to get one of the items we need there.
Yep, so potentially we've got 5 to 6 potential items. Really depends how the items are laid out in Eastern.
Mm-hmm. It's quite easy for one of those items to be locked behind the lamp, though. So we'll see in Sashral getting the silver arrows, red rupee, and a heart container.
Yeah, so silvers are nice, but we need the bow to make good use of them.
You know, just... Oh, no, never mind. We don't have the glove upgrade. I was going to say, we technically could go to Spike Cave, but we don't have that glove upgrade to finish off that location.
Yep, not yet.
It looked like it, though. I mean, we have the Moon Pearl, we have the hammer, we have Cane of Burna. It looked pretty inviting, but yeah, we do need a glove upgrade first.
Yeah, those small things that you never think about in Rando. Because it's just like, I've always got this when I come here. It's like, yeah, no, not really.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there's access to some more items, though.
That'll open up more of Death Mountain, and we can get to Tower of Hera now, too, and fully complete that.
Yeah, so we've got 10 items up there then now.
That's a lot of items. At that point, since it was the first item, I almost would have expected him to just like get on out of there. It's like, okay, this will give me more things.
Yeah, potentially. I think at that point you think, what would my opponent do? And typically, you know, when you come into Eastern, even if you find a nice item there at the first part, you're not going to dip out.
Right, and that's a very fair point.
Second item is some much needed rupees. That does mean one of the items is going to be lamp locked. Might also be bow locked. We'll find out, because this next chest is going to be the big key.
So yeah, this part is actually a sequence break. What HexMage is doing, definitely fair to do. You're allowed to do minor sequence breaks like this to get items, and it can kind of help you if you get something beyond the logic. Could really kind of benefit you and kind of lead your routing into more unique ways. But you'll know that basically anything we do find here will not lead to the lamp in any way, shape, or form, because the game expects you to have the lamp at this point by the time you're getting this chest.
Yeah, like something big that would sequence break here is if you would find something like the gloves, because if lamp ends up being the only major item up on Death Mountain, you just sequence broke Ega.
Exactly, completely. Let's see what we're gonna get. We're gonna get just a red rupee here. So that hook shot was the one thing that this seed wanted us to get from here. So we're gonna be heading right back up to Death Mountain to see what is on the east side.
Yep, we've got the 7 chests in Paradox Cave, the chest in Spiral, and then 2 in Hera. We'll see if they decide to run Hera if they find something major. That unlocks some more spots, since Hera is a pendant, though.
Yeah, that is true. Tower of Hera is a pretty short dungeon, so, you know, even if you don't really need to go through it, it's a kind of a quick check you can make and a quick clear you can make. So if the seed does end up being a pedestal seed later, then you're kind of covered for that. You don't have to backtrack up the mountain just to clear that dungeon. But you know, it is a pendant dungeon, like you said, so you do feel some kind of drive to not worry about it, because it could just be considered a time sink at that point.
Yeah, but I mean, even doing something like if you want to check it, the first 2 items that you can check in there are very quick, so maybe just do that.
Yeah, that's true. It gives you kind of an idea of how the rest of the tower is going to play out.
There's our gloves.
There it is. Okay, we have Dark World access now.
So yeah, with that, Ega 1 is officially dead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because once we get to the Dark World, we have free range to get to the left and right sides, and there will not be any sort of item kind of being blocked by that Aghanim requirement, so mitts are not going to need Aghanim at all.
So on the floating island, we had the Cane of Samaria.
That is an interesting item where that can be, and I think at this point, I'm trying to...
It is required.
Yeah, it will be required, and also means we'll have to get the mirror too, so... I think that's where I was going with that, but there we go. We have the big key in the first room.
Yeah, I think at this point, then you would definitely go up and clear it, because if you have to go into the basement, then it could make a little bit more sense of just not going because of the time you have to put into it.
Yeah, for sure, and we didn't get either of the 2 items in Tower of Hera, so you know you have a good chance of getting one of those items in the next 2 chests, and Moldorm, since he's up there as well.
Right, compass there, so we're still looking for the items. Oh, one's in the basement.
Wow, yep. Making us go all the way out of the way just to get these 2 items in here. Also, Furaime definitely catching up quite a bit. Right on HexMage's tail right now.
Yeah, we're gonna have synchronized Trolldorm fights, and well, we're gonna have some synchronized, but had a little bit of trolling on HexMage's side.
Looks like Moldorm's not really cooperating with Furaime either, so HexMage will be able to come back and not lose a whole lot of time. Ooh, almost gets knocked in that middle platform, or that middle hole.
Yeah, if you're gonna take a fall, that's the fall you don't want to take.
Definitely not.
But just a hard container on Trolldorm. We'll see if they actually decide to check the basement or leave it.
Okay, looks like Furaime is making that check. HexMage is not.
Yeah, HexMage is skipping it. He's actually going to go to Spike Cave, it looks like.
And, you know, I do respect this play because, you know, he knows his opponent is Furaime, a really, really fast runner when it comes to Randomizer. So just trying to get, like, you know, some sort of lead, some sort of advantage. And, you know, it's a long wait on that tile room. It's a long wait.
Yeah, it is. And with that map check, we had our last pendant was at Turtle Rock, and Skull Woods was our other 5/6 crystal.
Ooh. Ooh, nice blue mail from the Spike Cave check right there. And from
Yep,
Furaime,
and
we get a heart piece, so this was a good gamble by HexMage.
yes, it was. So yeah, blue mail, nothing important, but you're not going to say no to it for the time you spent to get it.
Definitely not. You're going Dark World right now, and you have access to Skull Woods, for example. So that makes the Mothula fight so much more appealing at this point in time.
Oh, actually, did HexMage check Spiral Cave?
He did not, so this is another check Furaime is going to have over HexMage.
Spiral Cave not paying off either, though.
Okay, so those are two kind of long-winded checks that HexMage not going to make right now, and going to save a little bit of time because of that.
Yeah, we're going to get a little bit of difference in the routes here when going into Dark World. Furaime is going to start with Hype Cave. Get the Tempered Sword.
Man, if Blue Mail wasn't good enough, having Tempered Sword for Mothula as well, that's definitely good to find.
Yeah, I think you're very happy to see that knowing you're about to go to Mothula.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, from Hype Cave, we have a red rupee and the 4 chests at the back. We got some bombs, a boomerang, and a bomb capacity upgrade. So, Hype Cave not being too hyped today.
Yep, a little bit of lack of height. HexMage setting up the bomb jump. And if you didn't get enough bombs in Hype Cave, Stumpy's got some more for you.
Yeah.
We're going to get the digging game and see how many digs we have. I think that was 25 for a piece of heart.
That is what I counted. So yeah, 25 digs. And still no second item in Skull Wood. It's going to be in the back part of the dungeon with Mothula, so going to be heading over that way next for HexMage.
Yep, been taking a little bit of time to restock on magic there. We'll see if HexMage, he's going to go right to Mothula first, which is the best idea. You're going to have to kill Mothula anyways if he has the item, and you don't even need to check that.
Yeah, exactly. So definitely a good way to kind of route through here. Ooh, gonna need to be a little careful here. Does not have a lot of magic. Don't know if he can actually finish this room right now.
No, he'll need enough for one more shot. He'll have to go to the back room. I don't know if he picked the magic up back there or not.
Yeah, I think he realized he didn't have enough, so he's gonna warp back to the beginning here. Had a lot of unlucky breaks with those Gibdos.
Yeah, it was weird because the fire rod shots definitely hit them, but did not light them on fire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there are 2 magic pots in this room, and you have 2 in the next room as well, so sometimes in a scenario like this, it's just kind of good to let the Wall Master grab you and kind of reset everything.
Yep, he's going to use that tempered sword, kill these Gibdos. And Furaime is going to actually head into Thief Town.
Yeah, Thieves Town's one of those dungeons that's you see a lot of as soon as you get to the Dark World. It only has really just one big item requirement in the form of the hammer being needed for the last chest if it's even required. So it's a good first stop for items inside. So it's a really fairly easy play to make.
Yeah, there's a hidden one that you don't see very often in Rando, though. If you have to go through Ega and you get over here by use of the hook shot, it does actually require gloves to finish, too.
You mean in that room when you first get to like the basement area?
Yep.
Actually, if you destroy all the enemies in that room,
What does the thing disappear?
The door to the left opens up, so you can go around that way. It's a little inconvenient, but gloves not necessarily required.
But HexMage had a nice moth to fight there, but he did not have the item, so he's going to have to go check this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really nice moth to fight. Ooh!
The mirror.
What a nice place to get that item, too, because we can just mirror out of here and leave.
Yeah, now, if only you had the book.
Yeah, exactly. Could make that pedestal check. But one good thing about getting the mirror here is, in this particular seed, we know that that's just not one item we need, but that's also access to another item we need in the form of the Canis Amaria, and maybe even the Quake Medallion, too, since we can also get that from here.
Yeah, very true, because we haven't been able to check Misery Maya or Turtle Rock yet, so who knows? Which, no, might not need it for Turtle Rock, because we might not even have to go into Turtle Rock yet, but we'll find out.
So yeah, I bet HexMage feeling pretty good about that mirror find.
Yeah, we get that bumper check, which nothing important there, just 10 arrows, but he's gonna, looks like, check Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb next.
Mm-hmm.
We did get the small key there in Blind's chest. We're gonna go check the big chest in Thieves Town.
Ooh, hello, lamp.
Very welcome sight. Not maybe something you need, but you're never gonna say no.
Definitely not. It does put Aghanim's Tower in logic, as useless as that is for us now.
This is true.
Ooh, really nice blind fight for Furaime.
Yep, pretty much stayed right on. But I see in chat a little bit that there's talk about the pedestal, and yeah, as far as pedestal, think at this point, with the dungeons we have, I think it can only be bow and a medallion if Misery Mire is a different requirement than Turtle Rock.
Yeah, this is true. It can really only be that. Bow or medallion. Because, yeah, everything else we need, we can get with the mirror already, or... you know, you need, if you need like the ice rod to get the pedestal, like obviously that can't be on the pedestal.
Yeah, so we'll see. So if you want pedestal, you're hoping that we just don't see the bow for a good long while.
Mm-hmm. I am really liking the potential for HexMage's routing here, because obviously he's in the Village of Outcasts. He can do Thieves Town very, very shortly. But then he can kind of do that loop around to the southern part of Dark World, and he'll be right where Swamp Palace is. So that's like 3 dungeons he can kind of clear in a nice counterclockwise fashion.
Yeah, and then even past that, if he wants to, is he's just kind of going through dungeons the way he's routing. He could go to the pod area right after that, check Pyramid, Catfish, go into pod, because really at that point you're kind of running out of locations.
Yeah, really. And getting the mirror was at a good place as well, because you'll be able to fit in a couple of other, or one extra location that Furaime couldn't do earlier in the cave south of the Grove.
Yep, that is true. Yeah, at this point, just kind of doing the dungeons that their opponent just did a couple minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. Skullwood's being slightly shorter than Thieves Town, so Furaime will have the second crystal before HexMage has his second crystal.
Yeah, that's true. HexMage did go on a little bit of a detour since he got that mirror, though, and checked King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, actually, that's something to note as well. With Catfish being there, they didn't have the rupees for Zora, so that would be the best time to route Zora in as well.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, no. Never mind.
Furaime takes down Mothula, taking very little damage.
Now he's going to swing around, grab that mirror, hopefully, because that will be required, and see where he goes next.
Yeah, and I think I could see him going north side of Dark World and going over to the pod area after checking, because you can use the flippers just to swim right over.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be a nice little counterclockwise versus clockwise divergence right there. And it makes sense, because really, who does want to check Swamp this early when you have a chance to maybe go mode it later?
Yeah, you have the option between Swamp or, a full clearable Swamp or a pod that you can pretty much clear everything except Helmasaur. You're probably going to go to pod anyways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Again, it's one of those tough questions you have to make in Randomizer, because right now, Palace of Darkness is not fully clearable. We do not have the bow. The bow could be in there, but we do have all the items we have for Swamp, even though it's a long tread through that watery dungeon, you know, it's all in logic right now. And there could be an item there, more than likely.
Yeah, there's a good chance there is. Alright, down goes blind for HexMage. And yeah, HexMage taking the south route.
And we'll see what Furaime does after this.
So the major check that we're going to see that's important is going to be the cave south of the Grove, since we have not seen that yet.
Yeah, and that's something that Furaime would have to essentially kind of double dip that particular route in, while HexMage is going to be able to take care of everything in one swoop. So a little more efficient for him, but you know, the routing Furaime did made sense at that time. Okay, we do have that north versus south divergence here.
Yep, so we're going to get a new check on HexMage's side, and Furaime we will see shortly as well. Yes, $50.
Okay, here we have the catfish check here. Not bad. I mean, we have enough money for Zora anyway, but, you know.
Yeah, I think he's thinking of the fact I'm about to spend all my rupees. I'm not going to say no to picking that up, because typically you see that this late, you'll just be like, yeah, I don't need 300 rupees.
Does give the option for maybe some potions or something if he feels like he needs them, although 12 hearts is pretty generous at this point. But here's another fish check we have. King Zora.
Oh, the ether.
Ooh, ether. That's a question mark, but not a bad item to find.
And HexMage is going to make the play in the swamp. And from the looks of it, Furaime is going to be right behind him.
Yeah, it's looking that way right now. Both come to the realization that, you know, we found all 4 items we need to enter Swamp Palace. This would be a good time to get this over with, since we can't really full clear anything else at the moment.
Yeah, because, you know, other than the mirror, we haven't really found too much of note in the Dark World yet.
Yeah, I think the myths themselves are what's really kind of holding us back right now, and they're probably either going to be in here or in Palace of Darkness at this point.
Yep, more than likely. We start with a map there.
Which can only mean there will be an item on the left side. Or at least the big key that will lead the big chest with an item. But yeah, still, left side will be needed to visit if we want to get all the items in here.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see, you know, if HexMage or Furaime, if they decide to do, you know, looking for as many items as you are, you wouldn't think about it, but maybe seeing a left side skip because you want to gamble that maybe you're behind, something like that, or you just need to make a decision to make some time up.
Right. I'd feel like HexMage wouldn't, or would feel like he probably shouldn't, because he's already kind of made a couple of gambles as it is, skipping Tile Room in Tower of Hera, and also not checking Spiral Cave. So may feel like, you know, I didn't check those, I should probably just check this just to be sure.
Yeah, probably, because, you know, making so many gambles, you know, at some point it's probably going to come back to bite you.
Exactly.
Oh.
Remy is going straight to the back, so, I mean, he'll be able to come back in and grab the left side, no problem. But this is something that you do kind of see here and there, is they'll kind of rush the back, take care of the boss first, and come back in afterwards.
There's our bow.
Wow. Okay, so this was good that he came here before going to Eastern, or not Eastern Pod, but yeah.
Yeah, that means at this point, for Pedestal, it has to be Bombos or something at least to Bombos, and that means Misery Mire also has to be Bombos, so... Pedestal's on life support right now.
Yeah, it really is. And there's the book. Ooh, that's Desert Palace Exodus.
Yes, it is. And the mitts.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's also Desert Palace Access, along with many other things.
So a lot of major items sitting here in Swamp.
Yeah, I honestly, I wish when I played Randomizer, my Swamp dips were this beneficial. I usually only find like one item on a good day.
Yeah, or more often than not, it's like, you know, 6 items in here's got to be something. It's like, no, here's just 6 big 20s. That's what you can have.
Exactly, like that's exactly how it is. Also, did we see the big key at all in here?
I don't think so. Maybe we did.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's maybe a case of big key inside big chest.
Nope, because, well, Furaime is going to go back for the left side at least, so we'll probably find out, because he's got to have the big key at this point.
Okay, it was in the waterfall room. That makes sense, thank you, chat. Also, bottle with the fairy was also in here, which is not bad to find either.
Nope, not going to say no to another safety.
Definitely not.
So just a quiver upgrade.
Oh, don't forget that key.
Oh yeah, and actually chat brings this up, and this is actually a good point. If Meyer is not Bombos, Furaime at this point is in go mode.
That is very true, yes. That is very true.
So I could totally see Furaime after this just going right to the Meyer area to check that.
And I want to say Furaime has definitely made a lot of time back over HexMage in just the course of this dungeon, so this is getting to be, like, even closer than it was, so it's like, man, anything could happen at this point.
Yeah. See where HexMage is gonna go. I think he's gonna go to the Mire area.
I think he is too. He is not going in to check that. I think that he also knows, because he knows where the Quake medallion is. So if he thinks that this is Quake, then he's in that go mode state as well.
Yeah, but if it's Ether, unfortunately, he's gonna have to make the trek back to Zora, and it's Bombos.
Okay, so we are still looking, guys. Neither of our runners are in go mode right now.
Yep, both runners just going right to the Mire area. Unfortunately, seeing the Bombos.
And again, we do see another very strategic gamble by HexMage, not going back in for that big chest that is working out for him. So he's not going to need that quiver upgrade.
Yeah, now it's really going to come down to where do you gamble to find the Bombos medallion.
Looks like HexMage kind of checking the desert area right now. Going to get that mushroom from Agina in here. And Furaime going straight back to the eastern / Palace of Darkness area, working just on some nice dungeon completion, because again, Furaime knows that if he finds that Bombos medallion in here, he has a path for himself, so he'll just go straight to the end.
Yeah, and this makes the most sense because it's either if you're going dungeons you can complete, you can go to Eastern to get the 5/6 crystal, but there's no items there. But that's with Pod anyways. You know, Pod in Go mode really isn't much faster than looking for an item. Other than that, you're going to Ice Palace, and if you can Go mode Ice Palace, you're gonna Go mode Ice Palace. But HexMage, on the other hand,
looks like he is going to Ice Palace.
Yep, he is going to gamble for the Bombos, because this could be huge if he ends up finding it here.
This is true, this is true. Because, yeah, you look at the stats that you were just kind of talking about, like the stats of, you know, Palace of Darkness is pretty much a, you know, a linear search through the progression, getting all the keys, getting the big key, getting all the items. But, you know, there is no item in here, and, you know, HexMage making a play like Ice Palace, going through the whole thing, which is normally a better go mode dungeon, he finds it. That's going to be a huge thing, because Furaime might save Ice Palace till the very end.
Yeah, and I think that's that whole thinking, like the meta, you know, it's like, what's my opponent? You know, is my opponent better than me? Because if you feel your opponent's better than you, you know, routing execution, you're going to make gambles that they wouldn't normally do to make up that time that you would lose because of that.
And so far, that's definitely worked to HexMage's credit so far, too, with a couple of checks that he just forego completely and, you know, end up not being anything important, so was able to save some time there.
We have the Butter Sword in Palace of Darkness, though.
We do. That sword will light up the way through this dungeon.
Yeah, and even with Silvers and how fast Helm Sword King would have done, now it's actually a little bit faster because you don't have to do the item switch.
That is true.
HexMage with a nice first try on the bomb jump.
Yeah, in a position right now where you kind of have to make that bomb jump play. Did not grab the Cane of Samaria before coming here, so you know, you don't want to do that huge loop around the crystal switches, which is what you'd have to do in vanilla. So bomb jump kind of the only way to go here.
Yep, I think we've still only seen the one item.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like we're getting a hammer yump on Furaime's side.
Did not need many buffers for that, so nicely done.
No, which, you know, according to chat, from what they were saying when it comes to Furaime too, is that he uses the random sprite during the tournament, so he might not ever have even touched the boost sprite, and it was very well done on that hammer yump if that's the case.
Yeah, that is very impressive to use the random sprite during this, because so many runners kind of adapt themselves to that sprite and their like sprite height and their shadows where they're located and everything. So, you know, just seeing someone who can adapt like that is really impressive.
Alright, we got some powder.
Didn't even need the fake powder thing.
It's like all the items are just at the very last part of Ice Palace. I think they're in the big chest and on Cold Stair.
Yeah, that's the way it's looking. We did get a couple of items from Furaime. We got that gold sword and the powder, but you know, not what we're looking for right now. We're looking for that Bombos medallion.
Oh, that's right. Iced tea room is still a thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good place to find half magic.
Yeah, we don't have a Bombos medallion, so Fire Rod, Half Magic, Cold Stare definitely makes that fight a lot easier.
Gets the hook shot the second time. It's map there, so Cold Stair's gonna have the last item.
Yes, he is, and I don't know if we've seen all the items in Palace of Darkness, so the last item could be on Helmasaur as well.
Yeah, we're gonna get some boss fights together, though. Helmasaur and Cold Stair at the same time. Down goes Helmasaur King. And down goes Cold Stair.
Just a piece of heart on Helmasaur, and on Cold Stair we have a blue rupee, so neither of these dungeons were the answer for that Bombos medallion.
Yep, neither one. Palace of Darkness paying off a little bit more because it did give the powder, so it opened some spots up compared to Ice Palace, so we'll see.
Yeah, and you gotta realize, like, even though we are looking for that one item, you know, what we've found so far, at this point, Pedestal is not dead.
Nope, not whatsoever. Bombos is still a thing, and more locations we check, better chance it is of being needed.
Yeah, we might have, within logic right now, the medallion for Turtle Rock, which we can complete that dungeon. Desert Palace we can also complete, so this could very well still be a pedestal seed.
it'll be interesting to see where Furaime goes after Eastern. Because, you know, even just doing something like checking Turtle Rock, you've got 6 items up there between Super Bunny, K, well, and even then you got the cane you need, as well as Quake that you might need for Turtle Rock. But if you see Bombos on Turtle Rock, you know you don't need Pedestal at that point anymore, and you have to be able to find it.
Right. And, like, you know, there could, like, still be, there's still that green pendant as well. Like, you know, we still have Desert Palace available to us, so it could be on Sashrala this whole time.
Yep, that's also true.
And, you know, we just got the mitts as well. There's also the whole matter of the Swordsmith side quest, so there could be something on there. There's 4 technical locations we have in that realm.
Yeah, Pig Cave, Smiths, Purple Chest.
And we also got the book, too, not too long ago.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things that just open up just a couple of those one-off locations, so we'll see how they decide to route these.
A very quick Armos fight from Furaime. Silver Arrows will do that, and curious to see where he's going to go next.
I think he might actually do Fat Fairy first, because I don't believe he checked Pyramid.
I don't think he did either, and this would be a good time to do that, because, you know, you have those 5-6 crystals. It's a good time to get that out of the way.
I'm gonna go check Bombos first.
Yeah, that's that book, or not that book, that Swamp Palace in general just gave us so many different options. The entire Palace of Darkness Eastern combo, Ice Palace, all the book spots, any items that were in those locations. Like, that swamp was definitely the big payout in this seed.
Yes, it is. Miserloo 22, info on Turtle Rock actually would help, because if we would see the Bombos there, then we know it's not a pedestal seed at that point, and the runners should know that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the runners are also probably thinking, in addition to that, though, it's like, you know, if I go up there and, you know, find out Turtle Rock is potentially open right now, then you go through and it ends up not paying out. It's just kind of like, that's such a huge time sink as well. So they're just kind of trying to weigh all of their options at this point, because there's a lot of different ways the rest of the seed could go down, because we just have no idea where that Bombos medallion is.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as dungeons, we're looking at Desert, Turtle Rock, because everything else is, as far as been full cleared now.
Yeah, we
But
can't get in the mire, so yeah.
Yeah, other than that, it's just kind of a bunch of one-off locations in the world map now.
Ooh, looks like Furaime going for the bomb duplication right here. And gets it.
Does get it. Heart container on Pyramid Ledge.
And inside the pyramid, looks like we got a heart piece and a heart container, so this was not the play.
Nope. It's good knowledge, and you know nothing's here in this area, but now where do you go? And it looks like might be, yep, gonna be Dark Death Mountain.
Anyway, to just briefly explain for the chatters that are confused in regards to the bomb duplication, The way the super bomb works is that when it is exploding, like you can't run with it. So whenever you run, you drop the bomb. If you are doing a screen transition as the timer hits 0, for some reason the coding of this game, which we know how fun the coding of this game is, it'll actually not explode, and actually it'll treat it like the bomb is actually traveling with you. You just have to make that precise screen transition as the timer is hitting 0.
Alright, and time to get some knowledge on Turtle Rock.
Okay, what medallion do we need? We need the Bombos medallion.
Alright, so Pet is officially dead now.
It is. So there, that actually does rule out quite a number of locations too. So that Bombos medallion is available right now. Where? We'll have to find out.
I think Sahasrahla has it.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good call. They were so close to desert when they found out they needed the Bombos medallion that, it could have been closer than they thought.
Hookshot Cave just a pair of big 20s. And the shovel.
Well, that shovel could lead to it. But Furaime knows that does need this Kana Samaria that's up here, so gonna grab this before going back down. Hopefully does not forget about the ether tablet, which is still on the table.
Yeah, and I believe he also has Spike Cave, if I'm not mistaken, too.
Mm-hmm. Yep, to get that blue mail.
Alright, well, HexMage finishes up Pod. He's going to head into Eastern. Get his 5-6 crystal, and then we'll see where he goes after that.
It is
there
on
it is.
The ether tablets.
So Furaime is in go mode.
That is correct. At about 1 hour and 13 minutes in, literally just has to go mode Ice Palace really quickly, then take the trip through Mire. He'll be on his way to Ganon's Tower right after that. HexMage, HexMage does have a bit to do, finishing up Eastern Palace right now. Does have Ice Palace already completed, but depending on how much he checks in between now and when he gets that Bombos medallion, Furaime will be making up a lot of time.
Yeah, definitely. If he decides to go right to Death Mountain after this and gets the ether tablets, this is going to be a very close race going into Ganon's Tower.
For sure, definitely.
Which, and looking at the item density where everything is, you're looking, we don't know the access to Turtle Rock for HexMage yet. You're looking at how many items are actually on Dark Death Mountain right now. That would be the best place item density-wise to go.
Yeah. Does miss a couple of shots on Armos, but does get his 6 crystal. 1 crystal up on Furaime right now, but Furaime is tearing it through Ice Palace, so we'll get his crystal not too long from now. He is making the play on Death Mountain. This is good for HexMage.
Yeah, the only thing that would be better would be if he decides to go check Ether Tablet first, which, isn't going to happen, but that would be the best case.
And see, we do have a couple of other locations up here on Death Mountain that HexMage is not taking a look at yet. I mean, we have Spiral Cave, which he skipped earlier. There's the Tower of Hera basement chest, which I imagine he'll probably check Ether Tablet before that, but, Spiral Cave could be on the mind as well.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, Furaime is entering the battle against Cold Stare now with, having Bombos and Fire Rod and Gold Sword. This is going to be a very quick fight, so I'd say that Furaime definitely in the lead at this point.
Yep, and puts Cold Stare in a corner. I think HexMage, though, considering that he gambled on Spiral Cave as well as the Hera basement, that he would check Ether Tab before even thinking about going to either of those locations.
That is true. That's a good point.
Oh, with Cold Stare down, that is the 6th crystal for Furaime.
And going right to Warp Point 6 to get started and finish up this seed.
HexMage getting his shovels, gonna go pick up his Cane of Samaria.
Now the question, how buried is this big key for Misery Myers going to be?
Well, Furaime is probably hoping for the Godmire right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, if this is a Godmire, depending on GT key placement itself, could be a very fast seed.
And HexMage getting ready to be in go mode in just a few seconds here.
It is the Godmire.
It is. There's that big key. And
try the hover.
Okay. Yeah, so let's not worry about hovering right now. Let's just secure this. Don't know where my opponent could be.
Yeah, because your opponent is right behind you.
Yeah, literally, probably, I want to say like maybe not even 2 minutes behind at this point.
Yeah, not really, because they'll be getting their big key probably, I'd say, a little bit before Furaime is actually in the Vitreous fight, and Vitreous fight is not going to take much time at all with Silver Arrows.
Yeah, so at this point, this race is going to come down to execution and, maybe slight differences in how they decide to route Ganon's tower.
We get the spooky action.
It looks like both runners kind of had trouble with that second Mire room there.
Yeah, Furaime not having any problems whatsoever with Vitreous, though. So down he goes. HexMage is also going to check this room before the bridge. that means Furaime's got their 7th crystals about to head up Death Mountain.
That's right, and because of that, we have a little game we like to play here on the Speed Gaming channels. There are 22 chests inside Ganon's Tower. One of those 22 locations can have the big key. In the chat, feel free to guess where you think, what numbered location that big key is going to appear at.
Yeah, it looks like we might be having a little bit of problems with the bot. Did not listen to the command. I'm gonna go ahead and try it one more time, see if maybe the bot just couldn't catch it.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's broken right now. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay, so there's not going to be an actual, like, official bot part of this, but, you know, we still like to have fun here. We still like to play the game, even if the bot's not working. And, you know, the actual automated game is really just for the leaderboard anyway, but, you know, we'll still have fun here. We'll still hype up where that location is.
Yep, and HexMage doing this the more intended way and not spooky. But Furaime is opening Ganon's tower up. HexMage is about to be at the Vitreous fight.
So yeah, about a Death Mountain climb of difference at this current point.
Red potion and a quiver upgrade for 1 and 2.
Which means no small key. We're going to be heading towards the left now. Next up, we have Bob's torture requirement that you need the boots for, and it is there.
It's there, so just need to grab a key now in the next room.
And Furaime is going to make sure that does not happen. So going straight over here, picking up that small key, and Furaime is on his way to the top. Just execution is what's going to kind of seal the deal for him right now.
Yeah, and I even think with, you know, really good execution, everything like this, climbing up at 123, there's a chance that this could be a sub 130 seed.
I think that is very much in the realm of possibility, especially with the execution Furaime has been shown today. So, yeah, let's definitely get hyped for that.
Yeah, and according to Crystals, HexMage is about 2.5 minutes behind Furaime from when they got their 7th crystal.
Mm-hmm. So you can tell right there, it was about 2 minutes, you know, separating them from when they entered Mire. So Furaime's actually gotten some extra time out of just the execution in that short amount of time. So definitely showing it that this is Furaime's race to lose right now.
But Furaime enters the gauntlets just before 124. Using that fire rod to get a quick kill. The monsters were behaving very well in the gauntlet.
Oh, for sure. Even the monsters want Furaime to get a sub 130.
Except the Landmolas, looks like it was 2 short hops.
Yeah.
Gets a 2 cycle on him though.
Yeah, which isn't too bad. It's, you know, a very obvious saying, but if you can't get 1 cycle, may as well make it a 2 cycle.
That room feels so good when you get it.
Definitely. As HexMage grabs his big key to Ganon's Tower. Also not forgetting the small key over here.
Furaime falling there is going to reset the room.
Anyway, quick reminder as we're going through here, the winner of this race, or if Furaime wins this race, will move on to the top 64 of the bracket stage. Their opponent actually unknown right now. Furaime wins. The opponent will be either the winner of the Wolfie and I Am the Schwarz race, which Game 4 was needed, and that's going to actually be played tomorrow, so we don't even know who the winner of this matchup or of this series will even be at this point.
And Furaime just checking some more chests. I'm guessing at this point, maybe looking just for that mail upgrade to be safe. Alright, down goes Trolldorm. And now you know your way through Ganon's Tower.
So I hope you guys are ready for a nice little geometry lesson. Furaime is going to be our teacher for this demonstration.
Almost got the triple there.
Yeah, I got almost a really nice triple. Double's still pretty good, though.
Another double. One more will get him. Alright, down goes Ega 2. And Furaime starts his fight with Ganon. Should be a very quick fight with Butter and Silvers.
Man, I love watching runners get that close to Ganon in Phase 2 and then just kind of like just casually step out of the way of the bats when they come at them. It's just like, my gosh, these guys are so crazy good at execution.
Yeah, definitely. You can see how much they practice. Gets the torch glitch. And the triple.
Wow. Yeah, that's definitely going to be sub 130, that's for sure.
Yeah, unless he takes a couple victory laps around Ganon's room first, but...
Better not risk it, I'd say.
But yeah, Furaime, get your GGs in chat for Furaime, who finishes the race with an official Speed Racing TV time of 1 hour, 29 minutes, and 42 seconds. Just below the sub 130.
Yeah, and just as HexMage finishes up the Moldorm 2 fight, probably thinking, so close. And that really was, my gosh, really, really close here. So definitely major props to both runners for making this a very interesting race.
Yeah, I think really the only major thing that was the difference was HexMage, making that gamble on Ice Palace.
Yeah, that's true. Made a lot of really good gambles elsewhere, skipping a few kind of out-of-the-way one-off item locations. And he really didn't, he didn't look at Pyramid Fairy. There were a couple of other locations he didn't check either, but, going through Ice Palace, when you have a chance to do it in Go mode, it does eat up a lot of time, and it seemed like all the items were pretty far away located in Ice Palace, too.
Yeah, pretty much like the last locations. I think there was one really early, but other than that, it was like Ice Tea Room and Cold Stare.
Exactly. Well, we are going to watch HexMage finish this out as he has finished with Aghanim 2, going to be making his way to the Ganon fight. Actually had a triple to start with as well, so definitely a nice job.
Yeah, and now HexMage is going to start his Ganon fight.
Anyway, we did get info before the race that Furaime will be unable to do an interview here, but Furaime is in the chat, so if you have any questions for him, definitely get those in. And GG for winning your race.
Yep, GG. And when HexMage finishes up, we'll see if he wants to come in for an interview.
Get his final thoughts on this race and also the tournament so far, because like Furaime also played his way in from the Swiss stage and qualified, so definitely has a journey to speak of.
Takes a death, but it has a fairy, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, I believe they do have that fairy still.
And down goes Ganon on HexMage's side.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be like just less than a 4-minute difference between the two runners, so very nicely done.
Yes, HexMage does finish with a official speed racing TV time of 1 hour, 33 minutes, and 9 seconds, so just over 3 minutes difference between the two of them.
And we are being immediately joined by our second place finisher, HexMage. GG on a really nicely played run.
Yeah, it was closer than the first race, but Furaime's execution is just slightly better than mine, or slightly, he's better than me.
Yeah, I guess the first question I have is, like, when you went into this seed, like, just, being down a game and then knowing of Furaime's execution, did that kind of, like, affect some of your decisions? Like, especially, like, when you gambled Terra Basement not having anything, and there's a lot of other locations you just did not check at all, and it really paid off. You kind of kept up with them quite a bit through this seed.
Yeah, I think if your opponent is better than you, you have to gamble that some out-of-the-way location don't have anything, because it costs them just as much time to get there. And that's time you can win if it's nothing, but if it's something, you just lose. But you're going to lose anyway if you have to do the same things they are doing.
Right, for sure, and it really, really paid off, so, good job. It's like, a lot of people will say, making gambles like that is almost kind of like really risky and not good to do, but in a case like this, you have to be very strategic with them, and it was definitely one of your main advantages kind of going into this, because there were a lot of times where Furaime was either in the lead by a little bit, or you were in the lead and he was catching up, but because you took those strategic gambles, you were able to kind of keep that lead going for a little bit, and it really just kind of came down to what we determined was the Ice Palace play.
Well, my thought at the time was, I just need Bombos. I hope it's in a Crystal Dungeon, and then I can do it while clearing Crystal Dungeon.
Right, for sure. And that was, that's a good thought. And in another seed, it would have probably paid out, definitely.
Yeah, but at the location I found it, I was from, this is actually kind of an out of the way location. I might actually be ahead because it's here.
Right. It was
So
actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was actually feeling ahead at the time. So because I did swamp early, it paid off heavily. And then I found my go mode item in an out of the way location, which my opponent might have not checked, but apparently he did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he checked a lot of, like, once he got done with he basically had Ice Palace and Misery Mire left before he found that medallion. He actually checked a couple of things that you didn't even then. He checked the Pyramid Fairy, which was just a couple of hearts, and also checked, I believe, the Bombos Tablet. Well, when you finished Eastern, like, Death Mountain was your next play, so you kind of did a good thing in focusing, like, once you got done with Crystal Dungeons, you went straight to where you needed to go, so that was good. It's just, that execution that Furaime has, my gosh.
Yeah, it's hard to beat.
But yeah, you did a really, really good job. You have anything to add, Sir Linkalot, or anything to ask yourself? Or
No, you pretty much covered everything I was thinking of asking. I guess other than, how did you feel when as much as you found in Swamp? Because even the book ended up leading to the medallion you needed.
Yeah, it was a good swamp for once. Although I've had other good swamps where 2 swords were on the left side, which is crazy. But yeah. Oh, well, I get to take a break from Link to the Past Randomizer now. So I've been playing every week since August, I think.
Yeah, this tournament's been going on for quite a while. And all the other tournaments before that as well, for that matter.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to take a break, at least until the next tournament.
Well, awesome. Do appreciate you coming back to this one and giving it a shot. One thing I noticed in your player bio is that, you said in there you were kind of hoping for a 4-3, and then here you are, like, you qualified for the brackets. Like, just in general, how did you feel about, like, I guess this tournament compared to other ones?
Well, I only played in the Key Sanity tournament before this one, and I finished 2-3 in that one.
Right.
So my goal was to improve that record, and now, I did now. So I can now say that I'm part of the 128 best players, a Link to the Past Randomizer. Currently.
Well, hey, nothing too shabby about that, though. That definitely is something to be proud of. So congratulations on the journey you've made so far. Okay, so I guess with that, I think we are good to kind of start wrapping things up here. So thank you to both of our runners for putting on an amazing show today. If you want to follow Furaime for their next match, we do not know who he is facing yet. We'll figure out the opponent tomorrow once the final game of Wolfie and I Am the Schwarz happens. But definitely keep your eye on that schedule. And, even for the rest of the day, we do have a couple of matches. Not many compared to the last couple of days and nights, but I believe at 5 p.m., which is less than an hour away, Eastern Time, on Speed Gaming 2, we have Walter the Fourth versus Smite. This is a Game 3 matchup, so both have actually had 1 win each, so they're going to be fighting for that slot themselves. So if you want to come back and see more, check out Speed Gaming 2 at that time. In addition to that, also a major thank you to our tracker for this race, Yoinker's wife. Thank you for being behind the scenes and clicking all those buttons and making sure that the tracker is up to date. And most importantly, thank you, Sir Linkalot, for being my co-commentator for this race.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Great race to watch. Really close, really fast seed.
And if you want to see more exciting races, make sure you follow those Speed Gaming channels, Speed Gaming 1 through 6, as well as the ALTTP Randomizer channels 1 through 4. We got races going on for the next couple of weeks as we finish up the rest of this bracket stage. But aside from that, I'm Slim Kirby. I'm going to say my final piece, and I will see you guys later.
Yep, and I'm Sir Lancelot777. Hope you all have a great rest of your evening and enjoy the rest of the rando for the day.